Welcome back to Secklow Sessions. That was Two Door Cinema Club, and that was the song The Sun. So Grant's going to be leading now.
Thank you, Rupert. I'm really upset that I missed the interview with Sparky Malarkey.
Very good. He's coming back.
I'll have to listen to that on the replay. But I've just spent the last 20-30 minutes or so downstairs with our next guests, who are three very special guys who have come in this evening, and they are three members of a band called the Autistix. And we are joined tonight by Jack, who is the lead guitarist, Graham, who is the bass player, and William, who is the band's photographer, who is busy running around taking pictures all night. Feel free. Let me just read a quick bio so we can understand a little bit more about the band before we kick off the interview. We're a unique rock band, together since 2010. What makes us unique? The three young men at the centre of the band all have autism. This gives us our talent and notable creativity. Our mission is to create and perform quality music to illustrate the talent of musicians with autism, hence the name, and to promote social inclusion. We're proud to include musicians with autism.
So, guys, tell us how...
I haven't finished yet.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm being nosy.
The Autistix stage presence is lively, to say the least. See what I have to put? We are supercharged with witty banter, quick repartee, and an infectious energy. We've performed at legendary UK venues: the Monarch, the Barfly, the Bull and Gate, Proud Camden, the O2 Academy, Islington Star and Garter, the White Rock Hastings, Brighton Dome, and at the iconic and wonderful Cavern Club in Liverpool, to name a few. We regularly appear at summer festivals and perform at fundraising gigs on behalf of the National Autistic Society and other charities. A few years ago, in front of an audience of over 1,200, our performance with Sir Tom Jones, I'll just say that again, our performance with Sir Tom Jones resulted in a rousing standing ovation. We've also mini-toured Spain, Switzerland, Guernsey, Guernsey and Romania. Wow, guys, what a bio. What a interesting read that is. Now you can ask your question,
I've
Suzanne.
forgotten it now.
Okay, well, look, I've got a question. I know it's obvious. I know the name is obvious, the Autistix, but there's a story you want to tell there, isn't there, as to how you took on the name, the Autistix?
Well, basically, the name was recommended to show that each of us younger members are autistic, and we can show that as Graham said on the one show, that we have autisms and yet we can do this.
You can, and your songs are really good. We'll hear them very soon. So you're a London-based band, but you have Milton Keynes connections. Is that correct?
That's me. Yeah, I'm from Central Milton Keynes. Our lead vocalist was raised in Miggleswade, and everyone else is from the London Borough of Camden.
Okay. And are you up here playing much in Milton Keynes, or?
We've not really done any Milton Keynes gigs as of yet.
No.
We'll be gigging near Milton Keynes in the very near future.
Good. Well, we'll come on to your gigs later so people can get their diaries out and make a note, because it would be good to come and see you. Me, at least. I'd like to come and see you. So, how would you describe your music?
Everyone that brings their music to the band, it all comes from some different source of inspiration. Jack's very into his pop punk. Jim and John, they're into soul. I grew up liking classic rock, heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
And Saul and the manager, they really like Bruce Springsteen and the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles have actually been a huge inspiration to the band because they're based just around the corner from Abbey Road.
Oh, and it was their 50th anniversary today, wasn't it, at Abbey Road? Yes, it was. The zebra crossing was inundated and the police had to be called.
Did they?
I was watching it on the news, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the 50th anniversary of either the recording or the photograph being taken, the iconic photograph. And
I didn't even know about it.
This is
Dear
the first
me.
I've heard of this, but
Yes.
I'll take your word for it.
No, it's true because
Yeah.
I happen to live with a guy, one of my lodgers, a lovely guy by the name of Dino Vasquera. He is an absolute Beatles nut. In fact, I'd go so far as to say he is one of the top authorities on the Beatles. In the
I think I
country.
might have met Dino a while
Really?
back. I met a Dino that sold Beatles merchandise.
Yes, that's the one.
We were playing at somewhere in Twickenham.
Yeah.
It was
Wonder if his ears are burning.
it was near a saint place, St Margaret's.
Yes.
We were playing at a pub in St Margaret's, and it's called the Beatles One Day.
Yeah.
And there was lots of merch on sale there, and I
Yeah,
met a
that's him.
Dino, and he said he was from Milton Keynes.
That's him.
That was when I said I was from there
Yeah.
as well. It was a wonderful moment.
Yeah, he lodges with me, and he's a lovely guy. And what Dino doesn't know about the Beatles isn't worth knowing. And I was looking at all his news today on Facebook, and the crowds were enormous. And there was a John lookalike, a Paul lookalike, a Ringo lookalike, and a George lookalike, all crossing the zebra crossing. And the crowds were going nuts, and there were thousands and thousands of people, and the police had to be called to move them because the traffic couldn't get through. Yeah, so anyway, quite a day. We digressed a little bit. We all love the Beatles, don't we?
We do.
Okay, so how we know you've told us about your influences. How would you describe yourself before the viewers can make their own? Sorry, viewers. Who's watching? Nobody's watching. They're listening. They're listening, aren't
Yes.
they? They're listening. Thank you, Suzanne. Before the listeners can make their own mind up.
What do you mean by describe?
Okay. Okay. Don't worry about the question. It's fine. It's fine.
For you guys with autism, the challenges you face must have been quite enormous. When you're on stage, how do you feel about performing on stage?
Me personally, I really enjoy playing on stage. I say my biggest challenge is to sometimes to kind of get onto the to the right timing of playing and also jumping and
You just
Okay.
get fully immersed in your music.
focusing on getting the crowd like seeing that they're enjoying themselves.
I would imagine there must be it must come with its own risks, and there must be benefits as well. I can imagine one of the risks being the whole issue of sensory overload. There must be occasions where perhaps you're on a stage and the lights are flashing and they're very bright and they're in your eyes, and then one of the stage managers throws a surprise at you because you thought you were playing for 30 minutes and he suddenly says, no, you've got 10 minutes and you're off, and you've got to think on your feet, and those situations must be a challenge.
It's something we all learn to work around. I had a sensory overload when I was young based around audio. I've since learned that the term was called, I forget the name of it now,
It's okay.
something to do with acoustics.
Right.
I'm embarrassed, I've forgotten the name.
It's
Don't
fine.
worry, don't
It's
worry.
fine. It's fine.
I'm happy to chip in.
What about lights? Bright lights on the stage.
They're fun to look at, but when you're being looked at by them, it's another matter altogether. But
Okay.
it's something that you learn to overcome.
Okay. I know Jack wanted you to say something then.
No, just I was going to ask about the acoustic things, whether this was in Liverpool.
No, it wasn't in Liverpool. I had this as a kid,
Right.
and our drummer had it as well. Susan's mentioned about it, and I'm really
It will come to you.
racking
in a
my
minute.
brains now trying to remember what this was called.
We'll play a song.
Yeah, let's
We'll,
play.
we'll
Yeah,
play a
let's
song
play
and
one
you
of
can
your
have a think
songs.
about it. This one's called Something Better. So is there a story behind this one?
Not really. Basically, this was just a song that just one person just was just writing in his bedroom and put his feelings to it, and some things that he probably might feel about himself as an autistic person, about how others would feel towards him, and people that would choose not to be his friends. So and
When it
kind
feels
of.
like a better person, basically.
Sorry, wait, twist that mic so we
Basically,
can.
want to feel. Basically, want to feel like a better person, basically.
Oh, okay.
I've just remembered the name of the condition now. It's called hyperacusis.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
And it was the picking up of sounds, receiving them louder than they actually are. That
Right.
they're not as loud as you make them out to be. But I had that, and since I've taken the stage, I've grown less sensitive to sound. It's become a challenge conquering loud noise, and there's a real high that you get when you're on a stage playing to a large crowd of people. And
Oh yes, we've all done that. We all love that.
Yeah. Well done for getting over that,
Yes.
though. Really,
Yeah, absolutely.
really good thing.
So let's listen to one of the tracks.
Let's listen to Something Better.
So here I am, all by myself, with no one on my mind. I'm sick of all my bad times, my bad times, my bad times. So there I was, so very sad. I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling pain and anger inside. Inside, I die. Looking at the streets. Looking for a better world. Looking for something better. Looking for something, something. So here I stand, stuck in my room. I'm feeling doom and gloom. I'm feeling pain and anger inside. I cried. Looking at the streets. Looking for a better world. I'm looking for something better. Looking for something, something. Lying in the city in the daylight, oh it's heaven. Trying to believe that everything will be okay. You know I keep seeing things in black and white, oh it's heaven. Not everybody wants to be with a guy like me. Looking at the street. Looking for a better world. Looking for something better.
Wow, welcome back to Secklow 105.5 Secklow Sessions, and we are with the Autistix.
Yes, and if any listeners have got a question, for any of the guys from the Autistix, please send us a text message. You can contact us by sending your text to 82228. Start your text with the word radio, then leave a space and send it to 82228. Standard network charges apply. We'll just ask a couple of questions about the song, but then I'd like, if it's okay, to return to that line of questioning, fascinating questions about the issues that being autistic and being in a band presents, if that's okay. So just talking about the song for a second. Great song, guys. Well done. Who's doing the singing?
That would be Jim Connolly.
Okay.
Is he the lead singer?
Yes.
Does he sing most of your songs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he write them as well?
No. Each of us brings a song in, and some of us bring in things that are fully done, and some of them that are half done, and then everybody kind of contributes.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's a good way to work, I think.
So I'm just looking at your band lineup now. Rather than me just read it out, do you want to tell us who's in the band?
So
Because you're a six-piece band, aren't you?
yes. Mm-hmm. We've got our vocalist Jim Connolly. He's the other one from outside of London. He lives in Biggleswade.
Yes.
He's the lead vocalist. Then myself from Central Milton Keynes. I play the bass. The rest of them from London Borough of Camden. We've got Jack here in the studio as well. He's lead guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take over, Jack, or shall I continue?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, all right. Jack's father, he plays second lead guitar or rhythm guitar. There's no real lead guitar. One doesn't outdo another, but they both have their moments of glory on stage. So Jack's father, John. Then there's Saul, the star of the show, the heart and soul of the band, as I like to call him.
I call him the autistic drummer legend.
Is he?
Yeah, that's what
All drummers are legends. All drummers are the stars of the
it's
show.
Just, with this one, I usually just say it like something to make our drummer just feel good, basically, because of.
No, it's a fact. All the drummers are always the star of the show.
Absolutely,
It's a given. It's a rock and roll
Grant
given.
being a drummer
It's
himself.
a tough job playing the drums. I've tried it myself.
I tried and
Absolutely.
I failed.
and then there's Saul's dad, Michael Zaspiro, who plays the harmonica.
Right, so it's quite a family enterprise, isn't it, as well? Because you've got your dad's playing Jack, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
And,
He's other guitar player.
and Saul, your drummer, his dad plays too. So it's quite a family enterprise, isn't it? And it's even more of a family enterprise because you told me about your manager downstairs. Would you like to tell me that story again? Tell our listeners.
The manager.
I don't remember saying that much, other than just that she's a manager.
Well, she's part of the family as well. She's in the Zapiro family.
That's also true. I
Yes.
think that was about as much as I said, though. I don't remember saying myself.
Well, you said it's okay. So
I'm sorry, I have a memory like a sieve sometimes.
No, it's fine. But Susan Sapiro. So there's 3 Sapiros in the band, and there's two Sapiros in the band and 1 Sapiro managing the band, and there's 2 Bevan Duggans in the band. So it really is a family
Well,
enterprise.
I'm the only Bevan Duggan. My dad's Duggan. It's just I have both of my parents' surnames.
No problem. Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Do you would like to ask some questions, Susan?
We've actually had a
I'm
text
just in
in.
awe of you
Oh,
guys
have we?
because
Yeah,
listening
we've had
to
a text
that piece of music, it's such a mature piece of music, and you guys are all very young, and to overcome the challenges that you do, it's remarkable.
To hear it called a mature piece of music that really, really, really means something.
Does it?
I remember-
Does it mean something good or something bad?
Well, a lot more grown.
Good. It's just I'd have described it as an overstatement. I remember reading a cartoon strip from that Vimto mascot, Purple Ronnie. He used to have these annuals now and then, and he said that there's all sorts of music in the world, and then there's 2 kinds of grown-up music: those that listen to classical and those who listen to jazz. And it fits neither, so I wouldn't have called it mature. But if you think it's mature, I'm blessed by that.
Are you? Oh, good.
Can I just return to the line of questioning that we had going before we played the song, because it's absolutely fascinating issue for me, and I want to understand it better. We talked about some of the challenges that you can face. being on a stage and having a bright flashing light in your face, and then surprises thrown at you and things not going quite to plan, and the risk of sensory overload and so on. A couple of questions arise then. Are promoters and managers and the people that put you on stage, are they generally sympathetic to those issues, or do they just throw you up on stage and expect you to get on with it like any other rock and roller?
Well, there has been times before where we were expected to be on for this amount of minutes, and then someone told us that we've been cut down now, or sometimes we got this amount of minutes, and the audience love us so much, and they say like you got this extra more minutes.
Okay.
Now,
For any band, that would throw them a little bit, but I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe you can correct me, I'm guessing for you that might present a different challenge.
I don't really think about it so much personally. I just whenever I go on stage, I just do the most that I can just in that moment.
Good for you.
I've
way to
never
do
really
it.
noticed many promoters that present as challenges like what you're asking about. In my experience, what has often been most critiqued upon is sound engineers. We'll have a show, and some of them are really laid back, and they'll put the channels up on the desk quite loud, and it sounds really, really great and really loud, and everybody loves it. And sometimes it's really quiet, and I feel really restrained, and I feel like I can't make myself quite loud enough here. And sometimes I'll cheat and I'll turn my amp up a bit, and I get found out, and then they turn us back down again. The bass is a quiet instrument. I sometimes I feel a bit isolated, but I underestimate its power.
Okay.
You've already achieved so much, haven't you, in the time that you've been playing. What's your aspirations for the future?
My personal aspirations for the future is to play as many countries as possible, and to do many EPs, albums, as much as we can.
And you've played quite a few already. You've played in Spain, Switzerland, Guernsey and Romania, haven't you?
Yeah.
How did that all happen?
It came through our manager,
Susan?
Yeah, Susan Ospero, which we don't know how she does it, but we're blessed to have her.
Great, good answer.
Yeah.
Is she listening?
Hello, Susan. I hope you're listening.
No, she's probably not at the moment, but
Okay, we'll
I'm
make
sure
sure-
she'll listen back to this.
We'll make sure we get a replay sent to you.
Yeah.
Okay, now the flip side to the question I was asking earlier about the challenges that being in a band might present is the benefits. I mean, is it the case, and I can imagine, I can't think of anything bad that comes from arts, from being creative. So I would imagine that doing something creative is a really good release for you. And well, tell me. You tell me.
In the long term, definitely in the long term, I think there's a lot to gain from it. You invest a lot of time and energy, physically, mentally, and just about every means possible, really. Every band has their moment of harmony and concord, and every band also has their moment of discord and conflict, us included.
So you fight.
We've certainly argued.
We all
How
argue,
often
don't
do
we?
you practice together?
There's not been any fighting, I don't think.
No, there's never been a
But
fight. That's
in the long term, it all irons itself out eventually. It all gets resolved.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of energy investing in encouraging our drummer to, step outside his comfort zone, and every year we play for his birthday. He's not long just had his birthday played for, and when I combine the job I do with the band and the hours I play, I was absolutely shattered that day. But one of the songs that we played, it was a Beatles cover, and it was a really, really fast one. Maybe not quite as well known as all the Beatles songs out there. It was called Dr. Robert. I was really struggling to get all 4 engine parts running that day, and he was outplaying me, and I just had a sudden second when I was, oh my goodness, he's really, really going for it here, and I just sort of woke up and I went on with him. I matched my speed with his, and he outdid me, and I was just so enthralled that day.
Great.
That was investment returned,
Yes.
and investment returned good at that.
Yeah. Well done.
Right. I'm thinking, shall we listen to another one of your songs now?
Yes.
What's
So
this
this one's
track?
called Not the Same. So is there a story behind this one?
Not the same. Is this on our second EP or?
Yes, this is on our second EP.
It's just the same. It's called.
We had the Something Better one that you played earlier. I think that might have been the B-side to our second release, a single, if not on our first EP. I can't remember. I'm out of touch.
So is this a newer song?
Yes, we did have a song called Just the Same, and Not the Same was written and referenced in contrast to Just the Same.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So should we give it a listen then?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is Not the Same.
This is off our third EP, The Meadow Sunshine.
Stood alone in the middle of nothing. The bars rose to my hands, praying for the first day of summer and the line drawn in the sand. It don't make you good, no, it don't make you bad. It's alright if you don't understand, 'cause I know somehow we're not the same. The fire is burning, the tables are turning. Words slip from the pages of sorrow. Pictures fill the frame. Dream a lie that you'd be here tomorrow. You come and go like the rain. But it don't make you good. No, it don't make you bad. It's alright if you don't understand. 'Cause I know somehow we're not the same.
Great song, guys.
Yep, that was a fantastic song, and that was
I
Not
love that
the
one,
Same
actually.
by our second guest this evening, the Jack, Graham and William from the Autistix. And that had a real Beatles feel to it.
It did.
That guitar and that ooh la la la, ooh la la la. It was very much the Nowhere Man, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, personally, when we were doing this song in the studio, I didn't even kind of felt that this was like we were like kind of slightly playing a Beatles or sounding like a Beatles song.
Oh,
But,
it did. Yeah, I could hear it.
yeah.
Who wrote that song?
Well, it came from my dad from the beginning, and then when he bought it, and I can't remember if he had it complete, but we all contributed other different things.
Okay, good. Good. Now we've had a lot of questions to Jack, the guitarist, and Graham, the bassist, and they've been answering all of those questions. But we've got a third member of the band, and I will call him a member of the band here tonight, William, who's the band's photographer.
Thank you very much.
So I'd just like to ask you a question, William. When did you first meet the band, and what's your involvement with them? Did you travel to all those countries with them? Do you go to every single gig?
Every gig in England.
Yes.
Basically, I would love to travel in the outside of England gig. Basically, I would like to do that one day.
Yes.
I would love to do that, and I am open to that. How I met Graham has been I met Graham in secondary school,
Right.
and when I got out of secondary school, I've been around with other bands, with other projects, taking pictures, doing this, doing that. I work on a building site with my dad because my dad's a landlord,
Right.
which is a very interesting
So,
business.
do you all have day jobs?
And basically, I met someone, and I seen a picture of Graham and I said, I think I know this guy. So I looked at the picture on Facebook, and I said, I wonder if that's the same Graham from secondary school. So I contacted Graham, and here I am today.
Yeah.
He
Live on
roped you
Secklow.
in.
With a bit of persuasion, I forgot who he was for a moment, and then with a bit of reminding, I was like, "Oh yes, I remember him," and everything's rekindled and very well for it. I'm glad to have caught up with someone.
So you went to the
from
same school together. Which school was that?
I went to a boarding school in Nottinghamshire called Dawn House, and
Right.
I don't really keep that in touch with, at least not like William in person. It's usually over social media that I keep in touch with schoolmates, but to keep in touch with somebody in person outside of school, where it was a boarding school where everyone came from all over the country, it really means a lot to me.
And the band's been going since 2010. When did you hook up with the band, William?
Oh, about 2000 and I think it was 15. 2015, I think it was 2015. I hooked up with a band. I think it was 2015 or 16.
Okay.
I think it was probably. I think you first came to see us in 2018, but I can't remember.
Yeah, 2018 was the first gig I took pictures in. But I think I've been in a few concerts with you lot before then, but my official photographic gig must be 2018 or 17. It's probably
Okay.
one or the other, I think.
So William came along then. Have you had the same lineup since 2010?
No, it was. I should admit that I've only been in it since when it was first called the Autistix.
Oh, what was it called before? What were you called before?
There was me and someone else that came to meet these two other people that wanted to be in a band, Jim and Soul.
Right.
And just in that moment when we first rehearsed it together, and then they said that we need a band name, and two other members suggested other names, and then I suggested the Autistix, which actually that one came from my dad, because he was saying that because most of your friends are autistics, and if you ever be in a band with these two other friends, not Jim and Soul, but you should name yourselves the Autistix. And
So the original nucleus of the band, was it yourself and Soul and Jim as well then?
yeah, and another player and another musician who was a keyboard player who he only stayed with us for 2 years, and he left, and then my dad came involved, and then the next year we found someone else, and then he left, and then Gwen joined along, and it's been going that way since then.
And I can't imagine, what is it like playing with your dad in a band? I mean, it's not something. My dad's passed away, so I'm never going to be in that situation. But I don't know that I want to. Well,
I mean, from the beginning,
was
I mean,
alive.
Depends what music is there. If you have
I
to-
say if you have the similar commons, then you probably get along well. But I think the other side is that sometimes, like, if you feel that you want your own space a little bit, or your dad or your parents.
Does he ever suddenly switch from being your colleague in your band to being your dad suddenly, and you just want to disown him? Does that ever happen?
It's I say it can feel really hard at times, but we talk over it, and then it turns out all right in the end.
Good. So he doesn't ever tell you off in front of your friends.
No, but
Good.
most importantly, he doesn't ruin my style in front of the girls either.
They are dad butt out.
I did treat a situation in a rehearsal once where I said to Jack, do you want to check with Dad if this is all okay, or etc. etc. And Jack's dad, or John, said to me, just call me John. Okay. And I said, so you don't mind me calling you John in front of Jack? Like, Jack would never call you John, so I gave it the kind of parental approach sort of thing.
Okay. But there are like where like with like where you're a son, and then you have a friend, and then they call you by your father's actual name, and even though you call him Dad, but he's like the person who kind of made you. If it weren't for him, you wouldn't be born.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where would we be without parents?
Yeah.
Not here. Okay, moving on then. I'd like to know all about this gig with Tom Jones.
Yeah, me too. How did that come about?
Tell us about it.
Tell us how it came about.
Well, basically, we got invited. There was I can't remember every single thing about what happened, but it was organised by I think it was something that was more involved in the something to do with the Jewish community, and we Saul, because he's Jewish and he has autisms and other kinds of conditions as well, that he got kind of involved in this thing, and then we had a chance to kind of perform there. And then unexpectedly, out of nowhere, that Tom Jones just happened to be there. And I think Jim and another bass player, before we had Graham, were talking that we want to invite him on. And then our very last song, our bass player invited Tom Jones to come on stage.
And he did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there was also one thing I did said, which I look back, and I think I can't believe I actually said that. That was probably really powerful. But I told him to always believe in yourself when he came on quite really nervous.
Really, he was nervous.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have thought that a star of his caliber would be nervous on stage.
well, I mean, we're all human. I mean, I could be 95 still playing on stage, and then still like kind of messing myself.
Okay, we're gonna need to sort of wrap it up now. But before we do, I really want you to tell our listeners how they can find you. Do you have a website?
We have a Twitter page, a Facebook page, a SoundCloud, an Instagram. We also do have our own website. If you just go on Google and type in the Autistix with an X at the end, where there's in Autistic there's usually a C, but in our name we have an X to replace a C.
Trying to be as unique as possible.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and you don't have the web address, but we Google.
We have the address. It's just www.theautistix. That's AUTISTIX.com. We've got some gigs coming soon.
Yes, tell us about them.
February. I'm misreading my schedule here. Friday, the 13th of September, we're playing in the London Borough of Kensington and Chelsea at the Finborough Arms. And then on Sunday, the 15th of September, we're playing the Rockin' Roadrunner at Northampton.
Brilliant. Well, so I'll certainly come to the Northampton gig.
Can I just add that I know the Frimber Arms where they're playing. It's a great venue. It's downstairs. It's a lovely little venue. If you go along to the Frimber Arms when they're there, you're going to rock out. It really is a great place. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to get the Northampton gig in my diary. And
We'll keep reminding our listeners as well.
Yeah.
Every gig we do, there's always this great big banner bearing our name on it that has the website for us, and it shows all the social media logos and music platform logos that you can hear music from. Be sure to come down. You're really going to like us.
Brilliant.
We will.
Brilliant.
We
So,
will indeed.
so nobody can miss you, and I'm not going to miss you. I'm going to be at that Northampton gig. Guys, it's been a real pleasure. Jack, Graham, William, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
Loved having you.
Thank you very much.
All the best, Milton Keynes.
Yeah,
And,
good luck with your career.
We'll follow you, and love to have you back one day.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we'd love to come back
If you get
again.
another EP, and we'll feel free to get in touch, and we'll happily promote it for you.
Okay,
Brilliant. Thank you.
so thanks so much.